Yep, it's your favorite N-word, Terrence Prescott Barnes. This time, I'm going to give you the background of PURGe. Purity is what's best for mankind. We want more of it, more of it, more of it, so we can galore in it. Purge all of the bad, purge all of the horrible, purge all of the wrong. That is our song. From one heart to the next, for all of mankind. Purity Galore by Gandamores. Gandamores created PURGe in year 3001. He had a lover by the name of Purity Galore. That's the first three letters of purity and the first and last letters of galore. Purity Galore was an intergalactic diplomat in her day who lived a great life of pursuing human rights for everyone. Fighting the good fight never got dull. Neither did her whole life mantra. She wants every human to experience a full life, full of pleasure. She wanted entities in place to protect those rights as well. Gesdo was so inspired and turned on by what kind of woman she was to the point he did what he had to do to create his own militia. Gesdo did what he had to do so that the universe is set right when he's gone. He accomplished it. PURGe has been targeted by plenty of organizations, have survived the test of time, and generally have more than enough agents that specializes in super being cleanup. From getting rid of pollution, preventing magical storms from coming through, cleaning up the damage done to any society, and repairing lands or structures important to mankind. Their magical might runs deep, and you can usually spot a lower level agent somewhere on a space colony or in a major city. Even the lower level agents have enough magical might to make everyone think thrice. The rank structure is what follows, from lowest rank to the highest. Junior officer, officer, lieutenant, captain, major, general, general 3 stars, general 5 stars, Hylian, and head. There are only 25 heads. Those 25 heads all make decisions together, but are rarely in the same place together because people stay trying to take them out, and their purpose is to protect the societal structure of humanity. Having 2 in one place is something they enjoy avoiding for security reasons. Majority of the characters in the story that are PURGe are highly in class. 2 of them are heads. And there's a former PURGe agent who would have been highly in class if his life turned out different. Let's begin with him. Former PURGe agent. Chest ornament. 12 fists pointing to a center fist that's facing up but upside down as if he's going for an uppercut. In the color of sky. So when I do these character summaries, I will start off with their rank. And then I'm going to go with their chest ornament because everybody has the same uniform except for their chest ornament. And that's something they get to design. When they get their contract, then they get to have it in any color, and it doesn't matter what color you want. You can have a gradient, you can have one solid color, you can have rainbow like one of the agents, as you can see in the image. And then moving on to the summary, and then ending with their actual job title and something else. So moving right along, Vibroz joined when he was 19, of Mexican descent, grew up in an orphanage because his superpower parents were lost in space. Never met them, but grew up with plenty of stories and footage concerning them. From their training sessions to interviews to saving lives, he saw it all, so he knew where he came from. Didn't have a bad life whatsoever. The orphanage took care of him because of who his parents were. Never wanted to be adopted because of his best friend. He was in the same scenario, but his parents weren't heroes, just regular folk. He was never left behind, but made sure he was taken care of too. They had all the same superpower training and became inseparable eventually to the point they said they were boyfriends. These boyfriends got into PURGe together because of a super being surveillance program and free travel around the universe. He went in decorated and for the right side of humanity, but a freak accident where he was deemed the perpetrator made him feel useless. PURGe didn't know his contract. He knowed his contract. Because he felt slighted, they would insinuate him doing anything other than tending to mankind. People died during that mission, and he felt responsible, but he didn't cause it. And because Blur didn't back him up, he vowed to practice superheroism alone, but his disdain turned him into a neutralite over the years, then a villain. He's a galactic-class helper villain, gunman, and strategist. He's a former SEAL-type PURGe agent. Hylian-class PURGe agent. Chest ornament. The Tornado Man. And the color of sky. Blur. Joined when he was 19. Of Mexican descent. Grew up in an orphanage because his parents were slain and the evidence shows that their bodies were taken. Unfortunate for him, he was expecting a blank life, but grew up with a comrade in an orphanage, and that was all the light he needed. Fell in love with that light. Fell in love with that boy. Didn't make a move until their powers came in, and they were both air-powered. To the skies they would go a lot of the time, then to the Super Being surveillance program. That's how both of them got trained to level 5 Super Being status before they hit adulthood. Then they became a pair of agents that got a lot done. They created a way to persuade magic storms from the battlefield together. They saved a lot of lives, and they weren't even 21 yet. Blur felt like he had it made until a freak accident with Vibroz had him saying the wrong thing. They weren't allowed to talk to each other before the debriefing. He said that he didn't know where Vibroz was when the mission went in the wrong direction, but he was there when the mission got back on track. Those 13 minutes when they weren't talking to each other, a lot of people in the sector of their space colony died. Vibroz unfortunately was blamed for it because there were 3 stories against his one. Blur lost his beau, his partner, and his friend, but remained as an agent that would be developed into an all-star. He's a galactic-class annihilation and sanctuary hero. SEAL-type PURGe agent. Hylian-class PURGe agent. Chest ornament. A spiral lollipop. Diagonal upper left to lower right. In the color of red. Lollipop. Joined when she was 20. Of British descent, she was just chilling at a food market, helping her mother sell some food they made naturally and supernaturally. In the midst of that, they would hail some passerbys that looked like they need a pick-me-up. Always willing to be refreshing, but they were doing this at the right time. A PURGe agent was in town and came to the food market. In that lovely crimson version of their uniforms with a crimson beret. As a child, she always looked up to that, but didn't think she had it in her to be a PURGe agent. Yet, she lured him with the smell of something that they didn't bring to the market that day. The agent came over there talking about, "I smell lasagna. Y'all have any?" Lollipop answered with, "I do now." Here's the kicker. Her, as a culinary wielder, turned him into a fan. Purposely, to get the perfect answer out of him. He told her what was needed in order for her to become an agent, then became one, then was immediately put on bodyguard detail because of her medical records. The aerologist said, from the looks of her compounds, her speed indications could be refined to teleportation indications. You know where to put her, right? Galactic Class 1 woman army, bodyguard, and assassin type Shiro. Bodyguard type PURGe agent. Hylian Class PURGe agent. Chest ornament. Her version of the Tree of Life, in the color of green. Allura, joined when she was 24. Of African Inuit descent, such innocence she once was so innocent the Tree of Life sought her out just to give her what she needed. In one of the many desolate places of planet Yuldiz, a group of humans decided to bring up Palisade City, but it never got brought all the way up. It's been in a detritus state for many decades leading to Allura being born. When she was, that was gift 1. There hasn't been many super beings in the area, let alone born in the area. Then she somehow was awarded a seed from the Tree of Life and decided to make a coven with such power. The Miracles Quarter Coven was created shortly after, and she has been a queen of the coven while taking in random powerhouses that have a glimmer of the Tree of Life in them. At one point in time, college days, 2 of her closest coven members and besties died in a terrorist attack. Superpowered missiles that took out whatever was in their blast radius and leaving nothing but space afterwards. Her friends died while she stayed in a room to get ready to take a shower. That vacation turned into her wanting to be on the right side of humanity for a lifetime. Somehow, some way, she became a Purge agent very shortly afterwards. Head of the Miracle Quarters Coven, Green Mage, and Galactic Class Sanctuary Shiro. Sanctuary-type Purge agent. Hylian Class Purge agent. Chest ornament. 13 stars representing the 13 main galaxies of the humanoid sphere. In the color of silver. Omniverse. Joined when he was 20. Of African-Rican descent. Was going to be the father of a lifetime. Disregarding it was his first girlfriend. He was only 19 and hasn't made plans for any near or distant future. Oh yeah, disregarding his parents being lost in space too. He has enough heart to always stay on the right side of humanity. Can't say that about the mother of his quintuplets. When all 5 of those double power gene awarded innocents were abducted from them, they tried their best to find them. Being able to teleport wherever he wanted to couldn't even help him find them. That permanently turned him into a hero, and to keep other kids safe, he took up a job with PURGe to make sure the kids who are determined to be powerful will be safe upon their travels through outer space. His power is universal to the point he can teleport between dimensions and teleport from one galaxy to the next, or skip over several galaxies and make a trip a simple 30 seconds. He stays ready just in case projected data of his sons show up somewhere. He can get there as fast as instant B. Any other time, he's keeping the kiddos around the Sea of Stars safe by murking any villain kind out there. He's a Galactic Class one-man army hero. Transporter-type Purge agent. Next, Hylian Class Purge agent. Chest ornament. 2 black upside-down triangles as eyes with laser-styled red patterns around them in the color of blue. Bazooka Flow. Actually, that's contradictive. I need to change it to blue patterns around them. Okay, moving along. Bazooka Flow. Joined when he was 24. Of Israeli descent, what happened to him behind closed doors was never for the amusement of others. Was never for his amusement either. His father was a tough lover and seemed to always choose darkness. Confused by him, the heroism his father practices saves plenty of lives, but not his. It was like his father was never proud of him, so he beat his ass one day and told him, "Fuck you and everything you stand for." He was supposed to practice heroism with his family, but decided to make a reputation of his own that revolved around loving, cherishing, and protecting as many people as possible. Once he saved himself, he figured the best path for him is Purge, then made history with utilizing a particle cannon as a shoulder cannon while surviving shrapnel regardless of the close-range combat he loves. His drive to be a completely better super being than his father helped out heroism in a whole to the point he was always booked and busy. He fortunately gets thanked beyond recognition every time he helps repair a terrain or a space colony. Hasn't gotten tired of making sure children feel like people are looking out for them. He's a Galactic Class one-man army and annihilation hero. SEAL-type Purge agent. Next, ahead of Purge. Chest ornament. A male silhouette diving in the water right before his hands hit the water. Color is orange. Diviric. Joined when he was 21. Of Iranian descent, you can say he likes to dive right in. He agrees. Has never been afraid of the battlefield, even when he was a kid. Being blessed with poi poi as a superpower gives a wielder 17 powers to deal with. And if you want to know, just ask me what poi poi means. I will point you in the direction of the video game, PlayStation 1 days, and they had a sequel. But he didn't deal with them. He mastered them. Might have taken a long time, but it won't take a long time to put a villain in its place. His heart has always thrived at the idea of keeping humanity safe, via violence handling until he knows the other person has no pulse. Simply came to the conclusion that the best life for him would be with Purge because he had 17 powers that could help with super being cleanup. He was right. He looked real good to Purge before they offered him a contract. It was all he asked for, and you guessed right. He dove right in and made his last name a verb. The last thing most villains saw when they met their death was Diviric coming from above like an arrow, intentionally aiming to pierce a villain from their crown through the bottom of their chakra. Now, the wicked thing about all this, all heads of Purge can be considered one-man or woman armies. It was always that, and even though an outsider can make hella jokes about not needing a bodyguard, smart men still know how to navigate the world. 'Cause villains stay diving in too. He's the second head of Purge, and Galactic Class one-man army and annihilation hero. He's an intel-type Purge agent. And, last but not least, a head of Purge, chest ornament, a heart in a spiral pattern, in the color of pink. Crisis. He joined when he was 19. Of African Inuit descent, his parents were important to a space mission, and he was too important to them for them to bring him along. They left him under the care of a goddess who owed them a favor. In turn, they gifted him with the red moon of Edgemer's blessing. The goddess made it so he got it because of how famous she is. An innocent life is very important. The red blessing made sure he stayed protected for the year his parents had to dip out. That made his entire life ultimately easier than what it was already lined up to be. When he learned about the story, he was merely a child and deemed that a child having to have that blessing to survive in his world utterly made him a hero. One thing he was always keen on was putting shit together with very little information, so he trained until his parents told him he was assuring to become a Purge member. Been fighting the good fight since and hasn't gotten tired. His favorite, and will always be his favorite thing to do, is healing people. No matter the cause, pain is something he can take away, and he will do it until his dying breath. He's the first head of Purge in the Galactic Class one-man army and healer hero. Restorative type Purge agent. Now that all of the characters are out of the way, at one point in time, all of them were contracted to Purge. There were a lot of early on great years for them, to the point the watch list was categorizing Purge as an instrument that could turn the tide of humanity in a truly positive direction that would affect the way that all space colonies behave, to the point utopia wouldn't be limited to just planets alone. Vibroz, Blur, Lollipop, Allura, Omniverse, Bazooka Flow, Diviric, and Crisis are several weapons of many that had the formidable intellect that matches their magical might. Them paired with the rest of Purge have enough momentum to affect every single stronghold of villainy in all galaxies and all dimensions. All of them have a permanent kill switch meant for all of the bad people. They have their reasons, fueled by atrocities brought to us by inferior humans. But no need to fret. They have their reasons that are clearly read through sociology, psychology, and psychiatry. As long as an agent has a reason to smile, they have a reason to keep their heads in the right space. Blur moved up in ranks because he didn't stop doing what him and Vibroz were doing to have them shoot up through the ranks together so fast. In any open space, the bigger the better for us all. Blur likes to keep the maximum amount of funnels, tornadoes, and hurricanes at 7. Any more than that, and his allies won't be safe. But pulling apart villains from multiple directions will have anyone acting right if they recognized him in the streets, metropolises, meadows, aircrafts, or space highways. Lollipop played to her strengths, giving the right people life-altering lollipops while saving lives. Not only was she restorative in a sense, she was also a healer with food. Yet, if it wasn't for her undying wish of making it to the crimson uniform, the worlds wouldn't be as protected as they are. Her childhood dreams dealt with being a super being in a red costume. Vain, but if you only knew how fast she could teleport, permanent bodyguard detail. Allura was always the life of the party, even though she has had her brush with death far too many times to still be connected to the Tree of Life, which is why the Tree of Life gave her a seed. Her joy is rooted from living and seeing others living. That's something humanity needs on a constant basis, and she fortunately has more than a surplus amount of magical might to back up all of her actions. Purge has always been accepting of her Hydra-controlling self and protective. Omniverse, losing his 5 sons is the motivation for him to not lose anything else. He has never dropped the ball. All children he takes across outer space are all still accounted for. The sensitive items he has guarded with his magical might are all still accounted for and have helped fold more than 50 apocalypses in his timeline. Bazooka Flow has skill sets for all things Battlefield related and continues to prove it nowadays to the point he could be voted into a head position at any given time now. His heart is aligned with all things that protect societal structure. With his ability to stop all kinds of ammunition and shrapnel, he's usually spread thin, but not 1 second has he let up on his magical might. His control, even while fatigued, is for the glory of all kingdoms. Diviric has been diving in his entire life because his inner strength makes his outer strength stronger. His big body frame inside of a uniform is always a heavenly image to innocence. They know him well, for he has stopped objects much bigger, much denser than him. Literally can stop a sea ship if he has feet firmly planted on the ground. The ground and the ship may take damage, but he is trying to decrease the amount of casualties with every decision. Crisis is the man you want around during any crisis. His code name is not vain. Besides, his power punches will make you feel like the video game has been brought to you. And he is the God mode you would always want on your side. The best thing about him, since he has been made ahead, he has been restoring relations with all of humanity. Vibroz. As stated before, his parents were well-known, law-abiding heroes who partied with the best of them. His circumstance dealt with not being saved by the heroes he saves lives with. Instead of brushing those feelings under a rug or getting rid of them at all, they festered against his betterment, and regardless of him having good genes, he just couldn't shake the betrayal Blur gave him. Even if Blur was the only person to apologize and take back the statements, Vibroz would still get reprimanded for the grave incidents. Super regardless of that, if Vibroz were to swallow his pride, he would be a Hylian class agent by now. Still on the battlefield as a duo SEAL couple and enjoying each other. Yet, that heartbreak has caused a lot of damage around the universe as of late. The alien invasion just stalled their broken hearts that turned into raging hearts whenever they saw each other. He lost his main reason to smile. Blur. He couldn't be an agent anymore because his disdain, his pride was just too much. That kind of twisted, unintentional betrayal flipped a different switch in him that should have never been switched. The others all still have their reasons to smile. Crisis and Diviric just want their friends and family to live in a world without pain. Bazooka Flow, simply him knowing he could whoop his father's ass, put a permanent smile in his membranes. Omniverse may have lost his kids, but him simply having hope that they are still alive and someday he will see them again keeps him collected. It's the getting thousands of children around the galaxies that makes him smile. Allura is the same way. She has lost many people throughout her life, yet the fragility around why people become friends keeps her smiling. Now Lollipop, she does what she does for the passport stamping. All of her passports looks like preschoolers took them over. Those act like her traveling memory blog. All of the lives she has saved through protecting her higher-ups saves many other lives inadvertently. Their intentions with their PURGe contracts are rooted in Crisis and Diviric's smiles. There is nothing like living in a world without pain. They will bring the pain because they have the might to. They use their might for the right side of humanity, so people can do what the fuck they want. Crisis says that a lot. Cause in this world where your passport talks, you can go anywhere you desire. They want the journeys that are inside of everyone's spirits to enjoy life until the day they die naturally. Not when they are 90, 80, 70, 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, or a newborn. They want every single person to be able to do what they want to do without damaging anyone else in the process. Their goal is to acquire true peace across the entirety of the humanoid sphere. Now be gentle and say no to human nature, or they will teach you how, in the hardest fucking way possible. Hope you enjoyed PURGe's background, and yes, Purity Galore. She has helped out this story a lot. Also, all kinds of love have helped out this story. Like these kids, the way that they grow up. Let me not go into a tangent, but Allura has seen death a lot, but her state of nature, her natural mind is to love, get love, see love, and see everybody smile, have a good time. She really loves friendships. And you'll be able to see that throughout the story because Allura is a trip. But hopefully you understand the purpose of Purge in this universe. Until the next time, I'm out to enjoy my life. I hope you enjoy yours and keep it peaceful.